She was one set away from the biggest win of her career. Then everything changed. She was up a set. She was up a break. The crowd was on its feet, thousands of Filipino flags waving under the lights in Mason, Ohio, and for a few electric minutes, it looked like Alex EALA was about to pull off the win that would have made the entire tennis world sit up and pay attention. And then, in the space of about 90 minutes, it all slipped away. A former world number 3, a two-time Grand Slam finalist, a three-set battle that swung so hard, so fast, that even the players on site said afterward they couldn't quite believe how it ended. This is the story of what actually happened on that court, and why the way Alex EALA responded to it might matter more than the result itself. The question that should keep you watching. Here's what nobody's really talking about yet. This wasn't just a loss. It was the end of a streak that had defined Alex EALA's entire season. 5 straight wins over top 10 opponents, a number that put her in rare company on the entire WTA tour. So when the match finally slipped away from her, in a third set that got away in the blink of an eye, the real story wasn't the scoreline. It was what she said afterward, and what it tells us about where her career goes from here. Stick around, because by the end of this video you'll understand exactly why this loss might end up being one of the most important nights of her season, win or lose at the US Open. Before we get into it, if you're new here, go ahead and hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're going to be covering every twist of Alex EALA's US Open run, and you will not want to miss what happens next. Setting the stage. A season unlike any other. To understand exactly how big this Cincinnati match was, you have to rewind a few weeks, because Alex EALA's summer of 2026 has been nothing short of a fairy tale. Back in March, she cracked the world's top 30 for the first time in her career, becoming the highest-ranked Filipino player in WTA history. That alone would have been a career-defining achievement for most players. But EALA wasn't done. Not even close. The turning point came in Washington, D.C., at the Mubadala DC Open. EALA arrived unseeded relative to the big names in the draw, ranked 28th in the world, and proceeded to tear through one of the toughest fields of her career. She knocked out Olympic champion Zheng Qinwen. She dethroned the defending champion, Leylah Fernandez, clawing back from a set and a breakdown. She then beat former world number 1 finalist Alina Svitolina and stunned 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka in the semifinal. That set up a final against the tournament's top seed, world number 3 Jessica Pegula, a 2-time US Open finalist and one of the most consistent players on tour. The final itself became an instant classic. Pegula took the first set. Then the skies opened over Washington. Heavy rain and lightning suspended play with Pegula still leading in the second set, and the match had to be finished the following day. When they resumed, something shifted. EALA came out and simply overwhelmed her. She leveled the match, then delivered a stunning bagel in the third set, closing it out 4-6, 6-4, 6-0. It was her first ever WTA Tour singles title, and it made her the first player from the Philippines in history to win one. The win vaulted her into the world's top 20 for the first time. Tennis legend Rafael Nadal even posted his congratulations online. For a country that had waited generations for a moment like this, it felt like the beginning of something enormous. But there was no time to rest. A week later, EALA was in Toronto for the National Bank Open, a WTA 1000 event, one tier below a Grand Slam in terms of ranking points and prestige. Riding the momentum from Washington, she extended her winning streak to 7 matches, grinding through tough 3-setters against Alicia Parks and Katie McNally to reach the round of 16. There, she ran into Belinda Bencic, a former world number 4, an Olympic gold medalist, and a player with far more big match experience. The fatigue of the previous 2 weeks finally caught up with her. Bencic dismantled her 6-4, 6-0, snapping her winning streak. It stung. But even in defeat, EALA's ranking kept climbing. Because she had so few points to defend from the previous season, she was quietly becoming one of the form players on the entire tour. Arriving in Cincinnati, which brings us to Cincinnati, the WTA 1000 event at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, one of the last major tune-ups before the US Open. EALA arrived seated in the high teens, sitting at a career-high world ranking of number 18. It was, by a wide margin, the best position she had ever been in heading into a tournament of this size. Her first opponent was Elena Gabriela Ruse of Romania, a name that carried some weight for EALA fans, since Ruse had beaten her at the US Open qualifiers 2 years earlier. This time, there was no drama. EALA raced out to a 6-1, 3-0 lead before Ruse was forced to retire with a foot injury. It wasn't the most emphatic possible statement, given the retirement, but the result was the result. EALA was through to the third round, and waiting for her there was one of the most dangerous hitters in the world. Enter Amanda Anisimova. If you don't follow the WTA closely, you need to understand exactly who Amanda Anisimova is, because this matchup was never going to be a formality. Anisimova is a former world number 3. She's a 2-time Grand Slam finalist, having reached the championship match at both Wimbledon and the US Open in 2025. Her game is built on raw, explosive ball striking, heavy, flat ground strokes that take time away from opponents before they can set their feet. She had arrived in Cincinnati seeded 9th, ranked world number 10, and had just dismissed Turkish player Zeynep Sönmez in straight sets to set up the clash with EALA. The two had never played each other, not once at any level. It was a first-time meeting between two players who, on paper, matched up in fascinating and unpredictable ways. EALA's tricky left-handed variety against Anisimova's brute force baseline power. Ahead of the match, Anisimova was candid about what she expected. She knew the Filipino fans would likely fill the stands in EALA's corner, the same wall of noise and flags that had trailed EALA from Washington to Toronto to Cincinnati. Rather than shy away from it, Anisimova said she planned to feed off that energy rather than fight against it. For EALA's part, she had made it clear all tournament long that results weren't the only measure of success for her. What mattered, she said, was whether she brought her best level to the court, regardless of the scoreline. That mindset was about to be tested in the most brutal way possible. The match, a battle in 3 acts. Here's where the story gets interesting, because contrary to what you might expect from a big upset, this was not a one-sided blowout. This was a genuine 3-set war, and for a long stretch of it, EALA was the one in control. Set 1. Both players held reasonably comfortably through the opening stretch, but the set tightened as it wore on. EALA had her chances slip and her chances saved in equal measure. At one stage, Anisimova strung together a run of 9 straight points, only for EALA to dig in and hold her nerve at the biggest moments. In the 10th game, EALA found the break she needed and served it out, 6-4. The Filipino sections of the crowd erupted. For a set, at least, the underdog had the far more decorated opponent on the back foot. Set 2. This is where Anisimova's power really started to show. She elevated her first strike tennis, hammering an extraordinary percentage of points behind her first serve. By some counts, close to 90% in the set, and EALA simply couldn't find a way into her service games. A single break was enough. Anisimova leveled the match at a set apiece, 6-4. Set 3. And this is the part of the story that nobody saw coming. EALA broke immediately, jumping out to a 2-0 lead in the decider. For a few minutes, it looked like she was about to complete the upset of the tournament. And then Anisimova simply took over. She won 6 straight games, 6 in a row, to close out the third set 6-2 and the match in just under 2.5 hours. It was a gut punch of an ending, not because EALA played poorly, but because she had been so close twice to seizing control of the match completely. First with the set 1 lead, then with the 2-0 start in the decider. Both times, the door swung shut. What the numbers actually say. If you dig into the match stats, the story becomes even clearer. Anisimova finished with more total points won across the match. She converted 5 breaks of serve across the final 2 sets. Where EALA struggled most was on return. In the second set, she won only a small fraction of the points on Anisimova's first serve, which made it almost impossible to generate the pressure she'd need to turn the match back in her favor. It's a small window into exactly why Anisimova is a former top 3 player and 2-time major finalist. When her serve and her return are both clicking, there are very few players on tour who can consistently disrupt her rhythm for a full 3 sets. EALA managed it for a set and a half. That's no small thing against a player of that caliber. But it wasn't enough to close it out. The moment after, what EALA's reaction really tells us. Now here's the part of the story that actually inspired this video. After the match, Anisimova was full of respect for her opponent, acknowledging how tough EALA is as a competitor and how loud and passionate the home support was for her that night, even on American soil. It was, by all accounts, a hard-fought, high-quality match between two players who clearly rate each other. But it's EALA's response that's been quietly making the rounds. There was no meltdown, no blaming the schedule, the crowd, the late finish, or anything else. Just an honest, measured account of what went wrong and what she needs to work on. It fits a pattern she's shown all season, one she summed up perfectly earlier in the tournament. When she explained that for her, success isn't only about the result. It's about whether she brought the level she was capable of. By that standard, a hard-fought 3-set battle against a 2-time Grand Slam finalist, even in defeat, is not the disaster it might look like on the surface. Think about the context here. This is a 21-year-old who, 3 weeks earlier, didn't have a single WTA Tour-level title to her name. She now has one. She has a career-high ranking inside the world's top 20. She has, by this point in the season, beaten multiple top 10 players, building a genuinely impressive head-to-head record against elite opposition. A tough 3-set loss to a 2-time major finalist doesn't erase any of that. If anything, it confirms she belongs in these matches in the first place. Why this loss might actually matter more than a win. Here's the uncomfortable truth about rapid rises in professional sport. The schedule doesn't slow down to let you enjoy the good moments. EALA had played a grueling stretch, a title run in Washington, a physically brutal run to the second week in Toronto, and then straight into another WTA 1000 event in Cincinnati, all in the space of about 3 weeks. Fatigue, both physical and mental, is a real factor at that pace, even for players half her opponent's experience level. Anisimova, for her part, has been through her own roller coaster season. A player who reached 2 Grand Slam finals in 2025 but had found this year more difficult by her own admission, and who described the win over EALA as a step in the right direction heading into the US Open, which means both players walk away from Cincinnati with something to prove at Flushing Meadows. And that's really the crux of why this match matters. EALA is not walking into the US Open having been exposed as fraudulent contender in the world's top 20. She's walking in having taken a set off a 2-time major finalist, having built a signature win column that now includes some of the best players on the planet, and having shown publicly that she can absorb a tough loss without it rattling her confidence. Looking ahead, the US Open and beyond, EALA now turns her full attention to the final Grand Slam of the season. She's no stranger to making history there. She's previously become the first Filipino player to reach the 4th round of a major, at Wimbledon earlier this year, and she'll be looking to add to her growing list of milestones in New York. If her season has taught us anything, it's that this is a player who treats every loss as raw material rather than a verdict. The Ruse rematch in Cincinnati showed she's capable of settling old scores when the opportunity arises. The Anisimova match showed she can hang physically and tactically with a 2-time Grand Slam finalist, even while running on fumes after weeks of brutal tennis. The next time these two share a court, don't be surprised if the outcome looks very different. For now, the takeaway is simple. Alex EALA didn't get the win in Cincinnati, but she got something almost as valuable, proof, in her own words and in the way she carried herself afterward, that she has the mindset to match her talent. That combination is usually what separates a good season from a legendary one. Before you go, if this breakdown gave you a deeper look at what actually happened on that court, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, and tap the bell so you don't miss our coverage of Alex EALA's US Open run. Because if this season has shown us anything, it's that the next chapter of her story is going to be worth watching live. Drop a comment below. Do you think EALA gets her revenge on Anisimova before the year is out? Let us know, and we'll see you in the next one.